The playoffs. We continue with the lower bracket, everybody. Battlefield of Eternity is our starting map between the KD Agents and low APM. We are in the losers bracket, and it's gonna get wild. The best of 5 series here should be a lot of fun. I think these two teams, we're gonna see a nice clash between them. And I also love Battlefield of Eternity. It's a fantastic map. Gets sometimes banned, and I actually don't like it. From all the maps that we have in the pool, I think it's one of the more enjoyable ones. You have it's a little bit different because you have a 2-lane map, obviously. Then also you have a lot of fights happening in the middle around the objective, and normally it is fairly fast-paced. So I enjoy BoE matches a lot. Now this is the Underdog Cup number 3. As a quick reminder, we're focusing here on the amateur scene. We're trying to shed a spotlight on the amateur scene, Heroes of the Storm, and also, you know, promote the grassroots a little bit, familiarize everybody in the audience also with some of the teams here. And by now you should honestly recognize at least a few of them. Obviously we talked in throughout the tournament about some of the players that have even side teams with friends where they play in the amateur divisions, whereas for the big prize money tournaments, you know, they form other teams. So it's actually quite nice. There's a link in the description if you want to check all of this out for yourself. I mean, going through the Underdog Cup for a while right now, you should be familiar with the concept just in general. But now that we're heading into the later stages of the playoffs, obviously most of these teams are at the top of what is allowed to participate in the tournaments here. And you can clearly tell. I mean, right now we're going slowly and steadily for the heavy hitters. Now, this is still the amateur level, so there's no doubt about it. This is also a bit closer to home to a lot of people in the audience, I would assume. So there will be mistakes made. There are a lot of preference picks that are still coming in, and sometimes also preference builds. But it is a lot of fun, and we've seen crazy cool comebacks. I mean, really, really good ones. Chromie is our first pick for Battlefield of Eternity. I mean, at this point, you still have the whole lineup to pick from, right? So heroes can only be played once within the series. It's still a rule that we adhere to here. And in game number 1, that means that for BoE, you have lots and lots of damage dealers that you can check out. And Hanzo, for example, is, of course, one of the prime damage dealers against the Immortals. So they're locking that in right away. We get Muradin, Blaze have already been taken now. Muradin can tee up whatever play they want to make here. And there's a couple of other heroes that we still have to consider as well. Greymane on the map can be played. We've seen Jimmy with Exterminator. Vala, of course, is another good pick. I don't think that... Well, actually, we could get for the red team still Li Ming too. So that's another option. As long as nobody goes for the liability this early in the series, I'm going to be totally fine with that. Keep Trash Tannis at home is what I say. It's kind of funny to me because obviously it triggers always comments, right? But there will be people... At some point, Atanis is going to get a well-deserved buff. It's going to happen. And then our people are going to be like, "Ha, you hate him!" I was like, no, I don't hate him. He's just useless. When you compare him to the alternatives, that's a fact. And some people just don't deal well with facts these days. That's the world that we live in. And Atanis is no exception there. I wish they would buff him a little bit. Especially his level 1 stack talent. I am very salty that they don't make this a bit more impactful. I want to live in a world where you can get Atanis to a high damage side laner and really capitalize on him, but that's unfortunately not what we're dealing with. So when there are all the alternatives still up for grabs, Atanis is unfortunately not the best pick. Greymane, I pointed him out earlier, here he is. And we get Uther even together with him. Reminds me a bit of the Chinese plays. Come in, get that Divine Shield on Greymane, and then start to crush things. That's over on the left. Yeah, there's Vala. Okay. That is immediately the question. Do we get an arrow build here with her or auto attack? I mean, with only one support and no triple front line, it kind of screams arrow. We have Varian for Taunt, so I guess we'll see. But nice draft for game number 1. Off to the races on this one. I expect a lot of things for the remaining series that we have in the tournament. With the performance that we've seen from these teams in the winner bracket, I expect fireworks. So, BoE, we get Sonya, and with that, we are set up for the first map in the best of 5, ladies and gentlemen. The KD Agents against low APM. Battlefield of Eternity, and on the left side, in blue, we got Gumis on Varian. Zaxi with Chromie, Mr. X on Brightwing, Beatrice playing Vala, and we got Aletis on Blaze. Over to the right side, for the KD agents. Simply with Muradin, we got the no-scope ninja on Greymane with Viciousness. We got Kani on Hanzo, and Megiblitz on Uther, and Crocodile on Sonya. Did I say Simply is on Greymane, or did I say Simply is on Muradin? Like, I don't know what exactly. Like, at this point, I'm actually thinking I might have called the wrong hero for him. Either way, he is playing the main tank, of course, for the team, which you should be familiar with by now. So Muradin is in the house. Vala has decided that she is going for arrow build, so more pressure against the Immortal. And there we have the Witch Hunter. Okay, so Crocodile sitting tight. First arrow is already out. They wanted a Stormbolt, and they don't get it. It's 3 heroes at the top lane against 2 right now. Vala is trying to work in those arrows, and down at the bottom of the map we have, of course, also 3 versus 2 therefore. As we see Hanzo and Uther fighting it out against low APM. Chromie just waddling away, cosplaying a dragon as usual. Nice poly. Aww. Muradin gets turned into a squirrel. I like it. At the top. Somebody's still hiding. I gotta say, nice mount and skin coordination for Sonya. That's pretty okay. So as far as Sonya goes, I will totally let that slide. That, on the other hand, is a problem. Not only did Vala, ever since she got the first arrow out, not connect the second one, but now she's also dead. So that is already slowing her entire stacking process down quite significantly. There would have been multiple cooldowns that technically she could have tried to work in. And yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. So Vala with 1 stack, 1.5 minutes in, not that fantastic. But let's see if she can make up for it in the next few minutes. We have the camp attacked down at the bottom of the map, but it seems like the red team is actually going to let this one go. At least it seems like that's going to be the case. Sonya has been damaged at the top, but they have the camp here. So she has the camp, and she can push this a bit back. But obviously, going up against 2 heroes, that also means there's a lot of aggression going on. Now down at the bottom of the map, it seems like Greymane actually moves back to the top. I'm not so sure. I would have liked Greymane to maybe stay a bit longer. If they're playing a 4 versus 3 with the camp at the bot lane, he could have gone into Worgen form and really destroy that wall, which they decided to not do. Uther on level 4 decides to go into the pursuit of justice. And we now also have the Sledgehammer. More damage on the Immortal. Not really sure if that's necessary. You have already Hanzo and you have Greymane. But apparently they really want to make it quite clear to the opponent that they are going to be the ones to win every single race for the Immortal. Vala with 2 stacks. Yeah. Vala needs to step it up big time during the first objective when we have that brawl out. Because 2 stacks, 3 minutes in, that's not enough. Probably locks in a 3rd here. No, apparently not on cooldown. Misses this one too, hits the Immortal with it. So this isn't really crazy. Beatrice needs to get a lot more diligent about getting some numbers into play if he really wants to be the one to raise the Immortal down. Because usually after level 7 kicks in with proper stacking on level 1, Vala can do a whole lot. But this is her still sitting on 2 stacks throughout all of this. And this is a problem. They're going for Muradin. They get some damage in here, but I don't think they can get that kill. Yeah, Muradin's still getting attacked, but trying to retreat. And the team has nearly won the Immortal. They have, of course, Greymane. They got Hanzo. So, yeah, they got a lot here. Vala's finally starting to pick up a few extra stacks for her level 1 arrow talent. But all in all, it's just not enough. Uther, they're trying to go for Varian, and they're trying to go for Vala at the same time. They're jumping in deep. Greymane is still on it. A little bit of body blocking would probably take him down. Waits for the Stormbolt. Hits it, and Varian is gone. Varian eliminated. The chance to push through the top lane a little bit. Vala now on 8 stacks. Again, I would like to have her way higher than that, but at least in that last battle, we saw her connect a lot more. So this is going to help, but she is still trailing behind. The red team is in the lead in experience and talents, which also gives us the hand of protection. But that fort is taking a lot more damage than it was supposed to. So Muradin's jumping out. It's a 1v1 at the bottom of the map, and I really think that they're going to take the entire fort, aren't they? Yeah. That fort is gone. Muradin jumps out, they're fine, and that is a huge upset for lower APM. Losing a fort on the first objective, it definitely sucks. That hurts. Monster Hunter is now ready for Vala, so she has her talents in. A little bit more pressure down at the bottom map as they are starting to come in on this. And they're actually pressuring hard for the structures now. I like that. Yeah, they're trying to see if they can maybe take that fort apart, but the rotation is now finally on its way. I think the KD agents were thinking that they would not dare to just go this deep, but the red team was still totally busy at the top lane, so there it is. Few structures taken out and a little bit of damage done on the fort itself. Nothing too insane. The lead goes still to the KD agents, of course. But hey, step in the right direction. So we have next up level 10 abilities. Chromie already has her slowing sands. And Vala is working the numbers. Is sitting at 11 stacks now. So basically Vala is currently hitting 1 arrow every 30 seconds. Which is not really a lot. But the Immortal now spawning, we'll see how much the KD agents can do with that Greymane plus Hanzo combo. It's actually kind of wild if you look at the lineup. It's not only Hanzo and Greymane that are doing great damage against the Immortal. We got Sledgehammer, Muradin, and then we get Sonya. Uther, we don't mention him, first of all, because he does not have that damage on the objective, and second of all, because he's dead. He is useless. So yeah, Uther will be back, but for now he is gone, and that gives the blue team some time to go straight up for the objective and maybe even the halftime show. Now there's oh, Vala, careful. Yeah, gets hit. Muradin, Stormball, Chromie. Try to get some damage in, but they're already retreating. They're buying some time for Uther to get back into the game. Taunt for the... Oh, nice! That was a beautiful flank from Blaze. That jet propulsion hit hard. They get the kill quickly, take Hanzo down, and the timing couldn't have been any better, just as Uther is back in the game. So, Sonya has taken another minion wave out at the top. That brings them to level 10. We now have Leap, but it seems that low APM wants to win the objective now. Still a bit of a gap. Leap is in. Whoa! And they try to take down Vala, but the arrow! The arrow! Oh! They kill Vala, and Brightwing is dead too. The arrow of doom from the other side of the screen. Vala unaffected, but then they still get the kill. But look at this. Watch out on the right side. Here comes the arrow. Yes! Vala dodges out. One stun is still there, and because Vala had to move towards the top, he falls. So that's a double kill, as Brightwing has also been dropped. Not bad. Yeah, so they take the objective. And after it initially looked pretty okay for low APM, we now have the victory on Immortal number 2 for the KD agents. So down at the bottom of the map, another push incoming and the chance to take down the second fort. Suppose that's a little bit too much to ask for, but still. Vala with 18 stacks now. It's a little more damage done here. What about the damage numbers? We have 15,000 for Hanzo. Vala is still top damage despite stacking slowly. Has also outpaced what Chromie is bringing to the table. So 20,000 for Vala and 17,000 for Chromie. Yeah, she's still trying here. Arrow straight into the face of Varian, and he gets murdered. They collapsed onto him immediately. Yeah, next jump is coming in. And yeah, with the fort destroyed, they might even be able to go for the wall with the keep. That's a lot of work done. 2 Immortals, 2 forts. Not great for low APM, and the leading experience is obviously more than justified for the KD agents. So, yeah, a couple more camps that can be taken here. So far, job well done. Muradin is just waiting for them to sniff around the bottom camp and waits for them to get into the bush and go and check that out. That hasn't happened. It could be a wild one now. Because we are going to have low APM under a lot of pressure to make a play. They need to get some kills. And if they get a good taunt with Varian, you can always make that happen. They have so many stuns, they have so much CC as a follow-up on a good taunt that they should be able to get more kills. But right now, they just don't have enough. So we have currently 5-2 on the kill count. They don't invade the camp, but there's a level 13 talent. And again, with the taunt, jet propulsion maybe a bit late here. We still try to turn this. Can he? Yeah. Muradin going through slowing sands, hoping that he somehow gets through it quickly enough that he can land another CC train on Varian or anybody else, and then he just gets slowed down to a crawl and he can't move, so everybody else just escapes. But we're 10 minutes into the game now. 22 stacks for Vala. We have the camp, obviously, on on the menu next. Sonya is sitting all the way up at the top, doing their thing there. And this also brings us straight into the next fight. So, at this point, Varian is the one that spends the most time in the Nexus. 46 seconds. Again, death time is obviously rising, so then we're going to see what they're going to do with that. But, yeah. For right now, I don't even know where that is, honestly. But, yeah, there we go. Let's check out the APM numbers. Yeah, the average APM, a little bit lower APM. Look at Hanzo, by the way. My God, he has the jitters over here. 230 average APM throughout the game, and he is hitting the spider. How do you get 400 APM just right-clicking an Immortal? Like, what the hell is wrong with him? That is crazy. Crotodile, calm the hell down. A few less energy drinks, my friend. That coffee is kicking in way too hard. I mean, he's sitting next to the Immortal, no opponent inside, and he's just like spam, 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 spam. And it's 400 APM here. And then misses the arrow! Dude, like, seriously. A little bit less caffeine and a little bit more target practice juice. So that's a kill on Uther. He's gone as they're trying to push with the Immortal here. It's getting a bit wild, if you ask me. But low APM wasn't kidding. I mean, Varian, for example, is barely touching the keyboard. Look at Brightwing. Brightwing is doing nothing. That's some passive healing and that's it. Yeah, they weren't joking. That is an aptly named team. Now they're trying to turn it and come in for a little bit of a hit, but they can't. Yeah, we still have Hanzo way too excited. Rights from A to B and is spiking higher than anybody else. Vala currently on 360. I mean, Vala is a little bit hyper, okay? Like, I give Vala a little bit of credit here, just like rushing around and doing her thing. But all in all, these Hanzo numbers, average 240. My man's on crack here. It's like, that's just nasty business. But yeah, it is what it is. So, Stormbolt connects. I mean, both teams are on level 15 now. It's really the structural difference that makes this game right at this point. So, we have currently Hanzo with a little bit more poke. 16 talents, of course, something that is going to come up in a moment or two and will be pretty big. On 13, Vala has, by the way, decided to go into the siphoning arrows here for a little bit more sustain on her end. She has 25 stacks now. She's maintaining that ratio of roughly 2 hits per minute. That's what we're currently getting. The move towards the top. They're trying to go for Atletis. They're trying to go for Blaze. They hit the bunker. He's still in trouble. They're burning it down. They want the kill. And they get it. Divine Shield on Uther. Oh! Sonya jumping in again. Muradin talking about jumping. He doesn't want to be outdone, so he jumps in too. They go for Brightwing. And they go for Chromie. There's the easy triple kill for the red team. And they should just destroy the keep. They shouldn't even bother around the objective. They have a minion wave coming in, so why wouldn't you just go straight up go for it? Especially with Greymane. Balan 29 stacks. It's not going to be enough here. She's sitting at 41,000 damage, which is nice, but doesn't help you. Only kills are important, and they don't get any. 8 kills to 3. They're on level 16, and now with the keep gone, they're going for the Immortal once again. Yeah, so Immortal time for them. And let's look at Hanzo. Hanzo stands next to the Immortal. Blaze is also just spamming. But I'm wondering how Hanzo's gonna do. Okay, so yeah, Hanzo 300 APM, 400 APM, 400 APM, just attacking the Immortal. Alright, my friend. What a show off. Unbelievable. But that is, well, what is that? 55% of a shield and the push through the bottom of the map. So this should allow them to maybe even take down that bottom keep. And low APM is running out of structures. They're really running off. I love, by the way, Varian. Varian with 0 RPM. Varian is just sitting there half the time and he's just like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm fine. Vala as well. Don't need to move. Efficiency. The German mentality. As they are trying to be efficient with their mouse and their keyboard clicks. Exactly. So, the wall is gone. So is the shield on the Immortal. We're going melee mode on the big boy. Arrow from Hanzo. And yeah, the follow-up not strong enough to net them another kill. So now they're trying to come in to see if they can get a kill and then snowball the keep. But, no, Muradin is in a bit of trouble. Still has Avatar available. They could actually turn it here. I was expecting them to turn. I was waiting for Sonya to leap in and make a move. But there's also catapults marching towards the core. And those are going to start to hit a little bit. They are trying to steal the camp away, which the blue team sniffs out. That has already been checked, but yeah, the camp is lost either way. Now, the problem that the blue team still has is that if they don't make a move, level 20 is going to be there. And, I mean, they should be really worried about that. It will likely be there for the next objective. So, if you want to have some even fights, you should try and force them. Which they're not currently doing. So, with one level missing until level 20 talents are there, I would be very much interested if I'm the blue team to force a fight. Because, yeah, I mean, it's only 2 lanes, so that slows experience down at least a little bit, but still. If you look at the overall minion experience, that's actually the funny part, it is massively in favor of low APM. Passive experience, of course, paints a very different picture. For obvious reasons. I mean, low APM hasn't taken a single big structure out yet. The top, we're now having Khaldor's moving here. Has gotten one camp, and they try to go for the fort. Yeah, they try to force this, and the red team lets this one go because they just say, if we buy ourselves a little bit of time, we can get to level 20. Sonya is now moving away, playing the safe too. Greymane is the only one staying down at the bottom of the map to make sure that they're getting the experience here. The Immortal is spawning in 1 second, and you still gotta fight for this a little bit. The red team cannot completely abandon the objective, so if the blue team decides to simply go for it, then they will have to address it. This, on the other hand, talking about addressing things, will need to be addressed too, because if not, that core is going to take damage. But the halftime show, they're going to win this. So the red team lets the halftime show go, because they want level 20, which they now have. And from here on out, they should be very aggressive around these fights. We get Redemption, we get Bullseye, the defense over on the left as the blue team moves in for the defense. And, yeah, a little bit of vision already in. Taking this one down a notch. And now the question of how low APM deals with this. It seems like they're going to try and defend here. The taunt is ready. Muradin jumps away and has to pop his avatar as Strafe was following from Vala. There's the Stormbolt, the arrow shortly after. They get a bit more damage in as Uther is waiting for his trade to kick in, which now has. Bunker is also on the ground. Not sure if that was really needed there. But they are attempting to win the objective, and Vala, with 35 stacks, is now doing a bit more damage with those arrows against the Immortal, so they're trying to utilize that. But it hasn't been taken completely. Here comes the leap, and Muradin jumping out as Chromie falls. Sonya with a spin to win, and they're taking down Varian too. That's a double kill for the blue team. Make it a triple. Blaze is gonna die. Muradin makes it out. And Brightwing has also fallen. Only Vala still remaining here. And they want her too. And Greymane gets her and then dies a painful death. So they can go over the top and now close out the game. The Immortal has also been taken. Great job here by the KD agents, as they are making the big moves in game number 1 on Battlefield of Eternity with 13 kills, 2-4. And they are going to be able to claim a victory on the first map of the best of 5 series here. Nicely done. Solid performance, honestly, by the red team. They played this out really, really well. And just on the kill count alone, you can already tell. But the objective, they locked it in every single time. And it's a deserved victory for them. GG, and well played. We're going to head straight into game number 2, but before we do, once again guys, if you enjoy the coverage on the channel here, if you enjoy the match, please like and subscribe to the channel, like the video. It also helps to boost the game to an even wider audience, and of course it helps to get people back into Heroes of the Storm, as the algorithm recommends the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past. So again, before I continue, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Appreciate it. And with that, we're heading straight into the second map of the series. Garden of Terror, map number 2. So the KD agents have taken the lead with Battlefield of Eternity, and a well-deserved victory it was. Nicely done. Lots of aggression, and really knew where to toe the line, especially Murden. I mean, how many times was he so low that you would think, okay, he's dead now? And then he made it out of the fight. Now we're going into our second map in the best of 5 series, which of course means that 10 heroes are unavailable, the 10 that were played on the previous map. And that will impact picks and bans quite a bit here. Now, Maiev gets banned again, and we have Lucio banned out. With this being Garden of Terror, we're obviously looking towards Hogger, for example, Dehaka on the side lane. Rhaegar as a healer will be a pretty valuable commodity for most of the teams. So these are essentially some of the picks that you would expect here. Everything that can deal with mercenary camps quickly, anything that can be used as a global and do some plays there. So yeah, by now we got, well, Dehaka picked immediately. And in regards to players, it seemed like they played with a sub player before, and now their actual player is back. So in case that you were looking at the Dehaka player right now and you were like, wait a second, I can't remember that guy from the first game, that's the reason. So it seems like they're having their side laner back and don't have to play with a substitute player anymore. Here come Hogger and Rhaegar. So basically all the 3 that I talked about at the beginning of the draft have now already been locked in. So those are typical picks that you see on Garden of Terror. You have the global on the side of the blue team. You have Hogger and Rhaegar on the other side. Junkrat and Diablo get locked in very quickly. That leaves us now with Diablo trying to push people around a little bit and attempt to set these stuns up for the team. Gonna be interesting to see which ult he goes for. We've seen quite a bit of Apocalypse on Garden of Terror with Diablo. But Junkrat, of course, also for interrupts on any kind of seed channel that we're going to get. And then in comes Sylvanas as the final pick, ban from the KD agents, so I don't want to deal with her. No Scope Ninja's choice should be an interesting one too. He seems to be a little bit of an X-factor for the KD agents, usually in the way that they're playing this out. With Diablo already chosen for themselves, they are getting rid of Garrosh. But, well, what do we actually still have available, or what has been picked? Sometimes you're going through these maps and it just like blurs together. But right now, what is the team going to claim? They could still go for something like Jojo, for example. ETC. ETC and Falstad. So with Falstad, they have a counter play to Dehaka's global. ETC technically could go for a stage dive if you wanted to. So then you have basically 2, but I guess Mosh Pit is a little bit more likely in this context. Still need a healer for lower APM. And of course a bit more damage. Either go for the triple front line or look somebody else in on the side of Junkrat. Faults are already gone. They go for Deckard Kane, a bit more zone control here too. And then we get Genji. So Genji and Junkrat, they go double Overwatch for the backline for the damage. And, well, last but not least, what is the pick for the agents? We got Falstad for side lane control, global pressure, gusts that he could use. Falstad gust into a corner, Hogger shockwave, ETC slide, mosh pit, boom. Sundering now as well. Okay, even more tools. The Wombo just... the Wombo is right there in front of you. You just have to find the spot and execute it perfectly, and then everybody dies within a second. Garden of Terror, our second map in the best of 5 series, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the losers bracket of Underdog Cup number 3. The blue team on our second map with Gummies on Diablo. We are on Garden of Terror, and we have Mr. X on Deckard Kane. Biachu on Genji, Zaxi on Junkrat, and Hammarine is playing Dehaka for the team. Sapphire for the healer. Over on the right side, it's the KD agents in red with the lead in the series with Simply on ETC. We got Kani on Thrall. No Scope Ninja with a birdie playing Falstad. McGiblets on Rhaegar. And Kratodel is playing Hogger in the second game of the series. So, only the winner advances. The loser is out and takes, what is this, 5th place? I think it's 5th place. Yeah. Actually, no, 4th place, if I'm not mistaken. We have another 2 matches. Yeah, 4th place. So if you lose here, you're 4th in the tournament, which is not bad. 4 out of 16. But obviously, they're aiming a little bit higher than that. Talking about aiming. They're aiming for Genji, and they get him. Genji is gone. So, first one to fall. The blue team loses one of their heroes right away. Dehaka has already moved up towards the top. He has given on Genji early on. Just didn't believe in him. I wouldn't either. Now have tissue regeneration for Dehaka. And down at the bottom of the map. There we go. Yep. So the dinosaur with the extra tissue regeneration. That's an ability that apparently also a lot of the new Jurassic Park dinosaurs have. Did anybody watch that latest movie? Does anybody still watch Jurassic Park? I mean, honestly, all of these things are just getting so bad and so generic. Somebody said the other day that Jurassic Park is becoming the new Fast and Furious. And I absolutely understand what they mean. The first one was basically the only one that was like mega awesome, and then you just like were interested in the franchise and where they were going with it, and now it just becomes ridiculous. Another island that was secret, another facility that they couldn't talk about, and there's the next one, and these mutate even more, and the next set of dinosaurs can play the piano. And yeah, soon we're gonna have, I don't know, like the Mr. X dinosaur that is so smart that even AI can't keep up with it, and it makes master plans. It gets so ridiculous and silly. I haven't watched one of those in years, and I don't really plan to, but apparently they're still making a buttload of money. So Dehaka clearly escaped from one of those facilities. He's the mega smart super dinosaur. Has even armor, I mean, look at that. And of course the tissue regeneration is a big one as well, but yeah, it is what it is. So kill for a kill in total. We have a couple of camps already locked in. The first seed spawning, and Hogger has done his job on the siege giants and claimed this one too. Right now we have, talking about Dehaka and the Globus, they're still fighting this out at the top of the map, and No Scope Ninja has already pushed him back a bit. As down at the bot lane with the camp that they claimed a second ago, we now have a 3-man pushing. ETC is on his way. Diablo saying hi is probably going to attempt to just slow him down a bit. Oh ho ho ho! Mistakes were made, my friend! Yep, that's a kill and a half there. Mistakes were definitely made. They're trying to open up the side wall, and I guess they might be able to save Diablo. Are they going to be able to kill him? There's that wall stun that he was looking for earlier. So, yeah, Diablo gets out, but that was scary for a second. Look at this. Diablo totally thought, I got this. And then he wants the wall stun. And as it turns out, yup, he just jumps behind the wall. That's high real quickly. So he basically followed ETC as ETC was clipping through terrain. But an interesting one. I think it was just really the timing. ETC was more or less already through the wall, or already like not clippable anymore. And therefore Diablo just continued to push him. But that nearly led to the death of Diablo. It made things very interesting at the bot lane. Let's just put it like that. So now that we have level 7 talents, we have the Frostwolf pack. Thrall is going to follow that up with, as usual, Ancestral Wrath. As a little bit of a side note, if you play Thrall, if you don't take Ancestral Wrath, you're doing it wrong. It's like the only talent that is worth picking on level 7. Everything else is just silly goofiness. So, yeah, don't do it. This is by far the best. Self-sustain, a bit of a nuke as well. It is glorious. So, yeah, follow through. Like, one of the things that really triggers me, if people that play on an amateur level, for example, even on a pro level, it's already a big question mark, and they're like, are you sure about that? Even on a pro level, seeing follow-through is basically a disaster. And if you do it, you should have the second charge on your level 1 as well. But if you combine the two and you have absolutely incredible mechanics, you can maybe get a bit of extra damage out. But especially when you see it being picked on an amateur level, it's just infuriating, because they don't have the mechanics to get the value out of it in the first place. And you give so much up here. Talents matter, and yeah, Ancestral Wrath is the big one. In this case, it doesn't matter at all, because Thrall gets killed anyways, no matter what he picks. So Thrall is gone. Hashtag not my war chief. And that also resets any ambitions that he had for his level 4 talent. They even get false start at the bottom of the map. So seems like low APM started to get a bit aggressive and a bit more focused, because this is a good start in the game for now. Genji got killed initially, was the first blood in the game, but ever since they turned things around and now have a slight advantage in experience. Don't think that translates into a big window of opportunity, but it's already a small indicator on where this goes. Kani should be punished, by the way. He plays the shittiest mount in the game, and that's that. We need to implement a tournament rule, honestly. This is an assault on the ice, and there are definitely a couple of states in the US where you could now start to threaten legal procedures, because again, this is just an absolute assault. We should not be subjected to watching a mount that looks as shitty as this one. Whoever designed it on the side of Blizzard, by the way, not only needs to be fired, that person needs to I don't know, work on some horrifying game or something like that, because yeah, it's just not acceptable. But back to my point, we should introduce yellow cards as tournament rules, and whenever you have a player that goes for that mount, it's the first yellow card and they will be eliminated eventually. That's a nice mosh pit. The Ancestral is in, and where's the value? There's the value. Deckard Cain is down. Mosh, baby! Thrall with 5 stacks, now doing well on his level 4, and they're using that to go for Diablo and take him out as well. Neat. I'm trying to follow that up with another kill, but this is the red team turning the game again, so we got a nice back and forth here. Really nice back and forth. So, yeah. But the more I think about it, the more I actually think it's true. Like, think about this mount for a second. He's going to use it in another moment. If you designed that mount, quest completed by the way, if you designed the mount, don't tell me you weren't drunk that day. That was designed on a Monday. That's a Monday mount right there. You went partying on the weekend, you still had a hangover, you couldn't be bothered, and then you just were like, looks like shit, but the deadline is due and I don't really care. That's a Monday mount if I've ever seen one. So, big fight for the camp, but the camp already claimed. Hoggar's trying to turn it on Genji again. Genji! And he's gone, but so is Hoggar. Got rip-tired by Hanzo, by Junkrat. 4 kills to 4. That's getting a lot closer now. So, yeah, they're trying to go for the Haka again. And the birdie gets out. But that's a kill. Thrall is gone. Yep, Thrall has been eliminated. But he had completed his quest already. So, that's the good news. His quest is completed. He's done this. And, yeah. As long as there's lose his stack, it's fine. But on the other hand, this is like the second time that he died now. Let's double check. No, actually, first time. Sorry. Rega hasn't died yet. Genji has died twice. The blue team was quite successful with the objective the previous few seats, though. They have like 2 seats to 0. And now this is going to be the first one that gets taken by the KD agents. Well, it should be. They also get level 13. So, yeah, there's that. Look at it. Even the tail is ugly. If he flips it quickly, you can't distinguish the tail from the head. When your head looks like your ass, something has gone wrong. And that's clearly the case here. Nice follow-up on the stun, but, well, here comes the barbecue and the Riptire. Using the Sundering as well. Everybody is able to get out. And here comes the next play from Genji, or at least the attempted play. Get wrecked, son! Get wrecked! Definitely didn't see that coming. Yep, that was pretty nice. Genji is like, I'm gonna be cool, I'm gonna jump in, I'm gonna annoy them. And then ETC comes in, can I ask for that dance, lady? And Genji is too flattered to say no. Well, they go for the Haka at the top, they might get that kill too, but yes, that is another one. The red team is looking for kills and they're finding them. At least I think so. The Haka is going for the great escape of 2025 apparently. But they will take him down eventually. So yeah, poor the Haka is gone. Was nice though. He wasted a little bit of their time and made them work for it. I can appreciate that. At 6 kills to 4 now. But yeah, that is a potential grab on the seat at the top, and they really should try and take this one because this could be Garden Terrors for the blue team, and you want to try and prevent that from happening. A couple of grenades are making it through, interrupts are still there, Diablo at the front, and the seat, it's interrupted again. The channel is interrupted once more, and the Haka is now back to business. Let's see if they can follow up on someone here. A little bit of extra damage against him. Ancestral. And the Haka says hello as Thrall gets booped around. Okay, but Dibbles is very, very low. Gets attacked. They want the kill. Stay a while. And get wrecked. Riptire, and the bird ends up in the KFC basket. Chicken wings for dinner all day, every day. We're going for the spicy chicken here. As the seed gets taken, and that is Garden Terrors. So, it is push time. Let's see how much damage they can get with this. Bit of action in the middle of the map. Well, with now Junkrat gone and maybe even Diablo dying, they're going to get less value than previously thought. But value they will still get, especially if they get a kill here. And they nearly got Thrall. Thrall is still fine. It's a couple of hits out. Has top damage in the game, by the way. ETC is still saying hello here. Birchu is trying to redeem himself for the 3 deaths and for that little blunder earlier. But there needs to be a lot of defense right now. Top lane, for example, as the minion wave pushing the 1v1 down at the bottom of the map. We're going to have that fort destroyed. Level 16 is close. Definitely closing in for them. And even with Junkrat gone, lots of damage done here. The defense in the middle was good enough to save them the fort. And down at the bottom of the map, Dehaka is now saying hello as Diablo is again pushing them from left to right. There's the lick. And they get the hit. Nice. Very, very neat. So, 16 talents already. That gives us a synergy. Diablo's not going to like that. Thrall now has Alpha Wolf and a completed level 4 quest. So, yep, that's definitely going to be fun for everybody except for the main, for the front line. The kill on Rhaegar. No Ancestral, by the way. He had it. So, there's the double kill. Rhaegar and Hoggar both go down. So does Thrall. So all the smelly characters, or most of the smelly characters... Actually, if you look at the lineup, this is a total zoo that we're seeing for the red team. Can you imagine the smell? Like, put those 5 in a bunker, honestly. Like, you're gonna escape this, and you're gonna... With a smile on your face, you're gonna jump towards the apocalypse. Like, the smell must be absolutely unbearable. But, yeah, that's the lineup that they're running here. Gus to buy a little bit more time. The red-blue team definitely on a tear right now after they got the objective. They go for ETC. Big mosh, but not enough damage. Huge mosh, board time, but they do not have the damage, and now the keep will likely fall. Balsar is doing what he can here. And it kind of started with Rhaegar not saving himself. I really think he had Ancestral already ready, but either thought he didn't have the time or what. There is, of course, a chance that I missed it being on cooldown and just coming off cooldown as he was about to die. But it seemed like he just thought he could escape without using it. And now it's 9 kills to 7. And that last objective was just absolutely incredible for low APM. The blue team was struggling beforehand and was starting to fall a bit behind in kills too. But now they've taken the kills, they've taken multiple forts, they destroyed the keep at the bottom of the map. And they're looking just overall really good. So 39,000 damage for Thrall, 41,000 for Genji. And the red team has to recover a little bit. They're also way behind in experience. They go for the Haka, but what was Hoggar thinking? Hoggar is gone. No ult, no nothing. There's the Ancestral. That one was good, but he's still gonna die, isn't he? We might be able to escape. Nope, he dies as well. So that is Thrall now gone, and the blue team is just running the show from here now. Blue team is just crushing it. There's another party, and this time Diablo is dead. They even get the damage in against Junkrat, but not enough to kill him. Zaxi moves out, escapes. Core shield is getting attacked in a moment. There's a seed back up, but they want that fort. They're gonna get that fort. 11 kills to 8. So yeah, there it is. Diablo has been killed. He released all of the souls. Except, of course, the 25 of all the decision makers at Blizzard that cancelled HGC and ruined Heroes of the Storm. Those he keeps. They're too evil to let them go. They will burn in an internal fire that Diablo is heating up every morning anew. Und mit was? Mit Recht. 20 is close, though. 20 is really close for the red team. Thrall plays it safe at the top. Or he doesn't want to scare away the experience points with his ugly mount. I would run as well if I see that. Imagine seeing that in the middle of the night. Absolutely terrifying. You would hear me scream like a girl and then just like run as fast as I could. Storm Talents in a second, and it's a seed versus a seed. So, yeah, overall, the blue team is now in full control of what's happening here. You just have to look at the minimap. The red team sees nothing at this point. I mean, absolutely nothing. They have no vision on anything here. Just check this out. Their vision is nada. The lanes are pushing on all sides, and it's absolutely bonkers. They're just sitting there trying to defend somehow, and it's nearly impossible, whereas the blue team is ruling every lane. They try to attack the top lane. Kane is sitting there. There's a next push coming. Seeds are up. They could always be claimed by them, but they have Storm Talent, so they're hoping to take some of the structures out. So this is the next thing. But yeah, it's just crazy. We have at the bottom of the map Hogger defending. By now, ETC gets bullied around. Sundering. Even the Ancestral gets used. But yeah, Simply is getting his hit points back quickly. The problem is still, of course, that they are being pinned down here. Falstad is trying to hold the middle. Hogger with the XP at the bottom of the map. And to be fair, they get to level 20 slowly and steadily, but I still think that it's going to be really tough for them to hold the keep at the top lane. There's too much poke happening from Genji and others. Falstad with the Gust. All he's trying here is buy them time. Buy time, push them back, see if they can follow up with maybe a mosh pit. Anything, just to save that keep. And so far, it's not really working. They're soaking a lot of the grenades, they're soaking a lot of the damage from Genji, but it's not happening. That keep is gone. That keep is gone. They want more kills. They might get Rhaegar. There's the Riptire and the X-Strike, and Rhaegar is down. Just as the keep is gone anyways, this happens, and now they're pushing this further. They even want to go for the core. That might be a bit ambitious. Level 20 is soon going to be ready for the KD agents. I think going for the core here is going to be ambitious unless they get another kill. There's the Mosh and the kill on Junkrat. Bye-bye, Diablo. ETC dies, but he died a hero. He died a hero. They're going to make statues and they're going to rename streets after him. But that's now 11 kills to 13, and with 2 keeps gone. Now that we have 2 heroes remaining on the side of the blue team, maybe an opportunity to get a bit more out of this. Falstad has Gust. He should honestly, if he survives here, okay, they get the Gust in. I was about to say, he could have tried to fly behind and then maybe Gust they got Kane out, but they're not doing that. If they can get the seed, that would be great. But the situation is still the same. This is their vision right now. I mean, look at the minimap for just a second. These guys see nothing. They have no information here about anything. They're trying to get that seed. Genji is attempting to interrupt this as best as he can. But yeah, it's a little bit bonkers. With Deckard, Kane and Genji now continuing to slow the seed progress down here, it also means at the same time that the KD agents can't even push for another objective. Again, this would be their second one, not the third. So, yeah, it's a bit crazy. Unless someone dies. Bis einer heult. Genji needs to... Oh, if Thundering connects. Genji is cutting this a little bit too close for my liking. It's nice that you're trying to interrupt this, but this is also not the seed that you should die for. So, there's the Ancestral. Gets that out. Level 20 talents are ready. Good heals. But the core is losing hit points in the moment. The shield is already gone. It's the catapults at the top lane that are now being taken out, but that's still 8% of the HP gone. They're trying for Genji again, as he is consistently moving in on the side, hoping to slow them down further. The connect on Dehaga, good damage. We've got 70,000 damage for Thrall. He's top dog in hero damage in this game. And then 67,000 damage for Genji. The Gust again, the isolated Diablo. They should get the kill here, and they do. But he had the soul stack, so he will be back. And the problem is the side lanes. Falstad needs to move his butt to the bottom of the map, or they are going to lose more points on the core. So, currently, we have a lot of action happening here with the 2 seeds on the side of the KD agents. They're not out of this yet, but it is not looking pretty. No, that's the next fight. Riptire, Thundering. Alright, Falstad is flying in. He's trying to say hello and help out. Hogger with the shockwave, and he's down. Diablo died as well. So they're trading kills now. They're trading kills. Catapults at the top lane once again, and they need to be dealt with quickly. And Falstad is right there, thankfully. They're still losing some points. Core is now down to 75%, but the comeback is a possibility. One more mosh pit. There it is. They're trying to go for Junkrat. Thrall, low. Thrall gets licked and goes down. Thrall is down. Wind tunnel play, trying to isolate them. The heals are there, but with Thrall gone, this is a nightmare. 28 kills in total. Catapult still pushing for the core. Another seat at the bottom right. And 20 minutes into the game, the catapults are a massive, massive issue. The core at 73% right now. The entire time when they're fighting these battles, it is the Winions that are pushing on the sides and doing a massive amount of work. Which makes all of this a little bit crazy. Yep. Low APM. Still with low APM. Deckard Cain. I mean, I can forgive Deckard Cain. He's an old guy, you know. It's like, oh, I'm hitting the buttons as fast as I can. Oh, where's my pudding? 21,000 now. And on the other side, we have Thrall. Just like stepping it up. But Thrall is mad damage. The problem is that he also dies a lot. One of the big issues that they have with this. I mean, Thrall died now 4 times. But 81,000 damage still puts him into the #1 spot in the game. So the next seed is going to spawn Garden Terrors again. Let's just say if the blue team takes it, that's going to be the end of the game. If the red team claims it, they might have a comeback opportunity. Rhaegar gets targeted. Doesn't have the Ancestral yet. Has it in a second, but falls there. Drops a good wind tunnel on them. Could get the heal now. Yeah, simply. Careful. There's the heal. There's the heal. Can he go for it? They go for Diablo, and he's dead again. Diablo is dead. There's the party. And Dehaka wants to dance. And if you want to dance, you're going to dance. 15 kills to 15. Dehaka is gone. And this might get interesting now. Falstad is still defending on all the lanes. There is a seed spawning at the top, and they need to grab it. They're going to try and get Siege Giants on the way towards it. But now it gets spicy. Honestly, I don't even understand why No Scope Ninja doesn't go for the catapults first. The core is going to defend a lot, but you need to make sure that you at least take the catapults out. That's the problem. Genji is doing exactly what he needs to do, but ignoring the catapults is just ridiculous. The mercenary camp at the bottom of the map is not going to be your biggest issue. You need to take the catapults apart and then the siege giants. Core is at 70%. We got 16 seconds for Diablo. The seed has spawned. Guys, this is your ticket back into the game. I get that Genji is going to try and push the core, but if you don't get the seed, it is over. So this is the one moment. And Diablo, you wait too long. Diablo is back in the moment, and Dehaka will tunnel in. Of course, Junkrat is going to try and interrupt. So they need to buy a little bit of time to get that channel. They're trying, but another interrupt is already there. They're making a play for Junkrat, and the channel is happening. Finally, we get some Garden Terrors. They're spawning very far on the right side, though. But this is the only way how you can get some map control back. So the comeback attempt is here. The blue team, 23, 24 minutes into the game, has done a fantastic job throughout the game. But can they now finish it out? They should still be able to pull that off. But they need to be very careful here. This is the one chance for the KD agents to get back into the game. The KD agents haven't taken a single fort out. If they can destroy a few forts, that would already help them a lot. But can they? That's the first question. If they get kills with this, hey, even better. So the Garden Terrors are moving through. Here comes the dance party. And Junkrat is alive. Saved by Deckard Cain. Nice. Deckard Cain saved Junkrat. If Junkrat dies there, then it's a totally different ballgame. They need to take that fort down, guys. You need to destroy some structures. I don't care who pokes. Somebody has to. Top side, yeah, again, the catapults are the biggest problem. The catapults are defending the lanes right now. That's the issue here. The catapults are defending the lanes. They are just too many, too strong, so the objective can't do a whole lot. They go for Dehaka, and they kill him. Dehaka is gone. Bot lane, yeah. They should really think about how they want to play this. Can they go for keep and core here, or they should instead just take down the forts? If they can get more kills, it's worthy to try. But if you have to fall back, if you think you need to retreat, then at least take a few more forts. That removes catapult pressure from the lanes. Then it's going to be a long and drawn-out game, but it could help you. So they're trying in the middle to apply a bit more pressure. In comes Genji. There's the slide. ETC. They're looking for the stuns. They go for Diablo. Diablo has no soul stacks. He doesn't have enough. Nearly dies, but he gets away. Gust is used again. They heal from Rhaegar, and it seems like they're going to retreat. The Haka is nearly back. 15 more seconds. Maybe a chance to rotate towards the top now and at least eliminate another fort. They got a bit more map control, which is nice, but they need to do a whole lot more than that. So take that fort out, steal the siege giants, and then see where you can go from there. For the blue team, of course, if they get another... Oh, Genji! And the interrupt is there. I'll try again for Diablo. He is fully stacked now. Diablo is fully stacked and gets the kill on Rhaegar with the help of Genji, who dies a second later. It's a bloodbath. They try for the Haka. He appeared again. The Haka gone. And Junkrat, is he able to get the kill? No! Volstad moves out of harm's way. Catapults at the top once more. We're 26 minutes into the game. Volstad is already flying in. He needs to take those out and needs to make sure they don't kill him. Oh, run, baby, run. Yeah, dances around them and is able to sustain that. The key catapults get killed. We have by now 35 kills in total. Hogga defends the bottom. And now with a 4 versus 3, they also have to go for the seed again. Because if the blue team claims it, it's over. Still, they haven't taken this fort out. They shouldn't have... Well, hindsight is 20/20. If they could have killed the keep, get a few more kills, it would have been worth it. But obviously, now in hindsight, they still have all that pressure against them. The only thing the Garden Terrors really did for them was alleviate some pressure on the lanes. But it's nearly back. They need to take more structures out. They destroyed one fort in the middle. In the bigger scheme of things, that's just not going to be enough. 120,000 damage from the Thrall. 120,000. We have 4 heroes right now that are in the 6-digit club. Thrall, Falstad, Genji, and Junkrat. Yeah, it's a wild game. And how exactly are the KD agents thinking they're going to win this? They gotta, I mean, either they're really banking on that one team fight where they take 5 heroes out and then just go for gold, or they need to really work on some of these structures. Even if it's just rotational plays. Because they're suffering too much. And here comes the big and important seed, and I'm telling you, if the blue team takes it, it is over. So now they need to defend the lanes. Falstad is trying to do that. And yeah, off we go. Genji is coming in. No Scope Ninja is there. This is bad for the red team. This is bad. Falstad will have to fly in eventually. There's catapults amassing at the bottom, at the top lane. Maybe they can send someone from the top from that fight and take the catapults out. Falstad is now flying in. Now they're on a timer. Now that Falstad is here, they're on a timer. They try to go for Diablo. Gets rooted. Sundering. He Hellgates out. In comes Genji. They're turning it on Hogga. The mosh pit saves him, but he dies a second later. In comes Thrall. He wants the kill and he gets it. Junkrat is gone. Junkrat is gone. And the Haka is also a little bit low. It's a 4 versus 4. Catapults are about to appear at the core again. Catapults are about to be at the core. Catapults on the the top and the bot lane. From both lanes they're coming in again. They need to win this fight a lot faster than they're actually doing. And the blue team might actually take down... No, they can't take down Falstad. They got close, but they're not able to pull it off. The shield is dropping. In comes the play for Diablo. Diablo is gone. The core gets chunked down. It is Winion time, baby. And there it is, the victory for low APM as the Winions take it on Garden of Terror. The score even in the best of 5 series. Coming up next, we have the 3rd map of the series. If you guys enjoy the content, also consider to head over to patreon.com/Khaldor. Support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene alive there. It's the best way to support the channel. Huge shout out to everybody that is already a supporter. You guys are really helping to keep this alive, and you help us to host event after event for the game here. Especially after Blizzard abandoning this already 7 years ago. It's absolutely fantastic that we're still able to do this here. So big shout out to all of the supporters. And again, if you enjoy the coverage, if you would like to support us, head over there and check it out. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the next game. Alright, Towers of Doom. We are in game number 3. Guys, the KD Agents with some serious attempts to bring the last match back. but it didn't quite work out for them, so they got mega close there on Garden of Terror, but then towards the end it just wasn't possible anymore. The Winions got too strong. You had the Haka against you as a global that could push the lanes, which was obviously a problem. You had at the same time Falster trying to contest this as best as he could, but it didn't really work out. So as is right now, we're having the third game coming up in the best of 5 series, with everything being tied, of course, and with low APM being able to put a point on the board. This should be an interesting one. This is exactly what I expected from the series. Like, I think all of the matches that we have from here on out in the tournament are going to be highlights, because when I look at the teams and their power levels, it should be a lot of fun. Right now, though, we're going to Towers of Doom, as already pointed out. We are in game number 3 now, which means that in total we have 20 heroes banned out. The Vikings also get banned. Bit of a shame. Would have loved to see them here. But let's see how they play this one. We got Imperius and Maiev also banned next to the Vikings. Maiev has been banned every single game so far by the KD agents. So yeah, this is no exception. They take her away again. And hesitated a little bit on the final ban. So apparently there's a bit of discussion going on what they should be afraid of the most. And they are deciding in favor of banning Sergeant Hammer. Always annoying to push into Hammer just in general. But here comes Medivh. So, Medivh as a first pick even. That allows you at least to pick some heroes that can deal with portals. I mean, typical examples would be Stukov or Malfurion. Just heroes that in general can lock targets down that try to get to the portal or move away from the portal. And Medivh, as a result, gets taken. And he's obviously now also picked as a combo together with Garrosh, which is another nice tool that they have here. Now for the team on the left now, what are they going to try and do with Medivh? I mean, one of the plays that they might have tried to aim for is actually the Medivh Garrosh combo. If you can portal Garrosh in, that's always a lot of fun. Could go Stitches, I guess. I mean, if you really want to go for a Kidnap combo, then you could do that now. And when Light Bomb works also with that, if you're playing around your Gorge timing well. Oh, I get Malthael now. But could still be... there are still a couple of pretty interesting moves that they could make. You could go for a very cool Kidnap combo with this too. First of all, you have Gorge from Stitches. Then you come in with a portal. And then Anduin, after the portal is already used, he also goes for a pull. You can basically move the target from one side to the next with ease. No problems whatsoever. Vala gets banned. I can't wait to see what exactly the blue team is not going to get. I suppose this is not coming together the way that I would wish for, which is a bit more of a Mimi composition than anything else. The ban on Tracer makes a whole lot of sense, of course, since we have Malfurion for the red team. That overheal allows her to be a lot more aggressive, and they don't want to deal with that. So, yeah, Tracer is banned out. But the blue team, the red team now, with the double pick, they already know who they are up against on the side lane, so they can make their own choice accordingly. They pick Stitches away. These fuckers. They pick Chen and Stitches. Now that's a triple front line. Yep, that is interesting. So they're going for a triple front line with an actual double tank and one side laner. And now low APM is standing there, is like, okay, team. So here comes Mal'Ganis, and we get Zul'jin. I don't know if Stitches Medivh was the plan, but the KD agents certainly thought so, and then decided that they would simply pick Stitches for themselves. That is how you get rid of a hero in a draft. So wild. They need a real damage dealer now. And Zul'jin is already taken. I guess Cassia could be a potential pick for them. But yeah, that is a wild development there. Oof. They go for Tychus as we're headed for Towers of Doom. Let's see if that works out. This is going to get interesting, everybody. Towers of Doom, the KD agents pick Stitches away, and then in addition to it, take Chen. So now that we're going into the third game of the best of 5, which team is going to take the lead here? Is it going to be the KD agents, or is it going to be low APM? Let's find out. So, this is going to be wild. This will be really interesting. Interesting developments when we are talking about the drafts. Over on the left side, we now have Gumis on Mal'Ganis. We get Zaxi on Suljin with Bone Slicer as his level 1 talent. Mr. X on Anduin. Piachu is playing Medivh, and we get Hammerin on Malthael. As over to the right side, the red team is starting things off with Simply on Garrosh. We're getting Kratodel on Chen. We got Kani on Tychus. More importantly, we have the no-scope Ninja on Stitches. That definitely came out of nowhere. And McGiblets on Malfurion. If you're really scared about a composition that your opponent might play and you don't have a ban left, you know, just just join him. If you can't ban him, just pick him. That's essentially what we saw there. Is that gonna work for them though? The double tank. I mean, we've seen obviously a lot of triple front lines where you go for 2 side laners, you try and add a little bit more damage or CC to the composition, and then you can shield your damage dealer very nicely. But in this case, he really went for full-on 2 tanks, which you do not see all that much. We've seen, of course, a couple of tanks that can be played in the side lane position, like Arthur's. That would be one, but this is still a bit special. So, we'll see. At this point, we have the hits coming with stacks also on the side of Medivh, of course. And Stitches. I mean, Stitches are still going. I wonder if Stitches is going to adjust his build a little bit. I mean, at this point, for example, I guess they could go Gorge. I was thinking if they are maybe a little bit more damage oriented or teamfight oriented. But if they go Gorge here and then they use the Keg on Chen to create some space, they can still get some targets. So this could get interesting, but Tychus will have to do a whole lot of damage. I honestly, the more that I think about it, the more I believe that I would have liked Tychus to go for an auto attack build with that particular draft. If you have such a front line and you need to consistently get the damage out, playing around the grenade cooldown is something that I would probably not like. So maybe with auto attack that adjustment could make this a little bit better. Spicy. Yeah, it's a bit tough. The draft is a bit wonky, 100%. So it's just a matter of how exactly is the blue team going to react to it and how are the KD Angels going to try and play this out now. So we'll definitely have a look on that. We have a few more globes coming together for Stitches. Malthael is the first one to fall. Portal is there. Gets controlled, but Mal'Ganis still gets out. They're trying for Suljin, and he's still alive and kicking. Same can be said for Mal'Ganis, as he also gets out of the fight. We got the Amani hide for Suljin. And 8 stacks already on the baseline quest. That only caps out at 50. Again, as we said before. Once again, there's the portal. The hook on the portal, and Suljin is gone. That was nicely done. First trying to control the portal itself, and then when that doesn't work out, then just moving in with Stitches and hook at the other end of the portal, get the connect, and then the kill. So, yeah, that's 2 kills to 0 for the KD agents. It's working. Still very early in the game, though. So we are now at the first altar phase. Yeah, the interrupt, top left, top right gets exchanged as usual. Still quite curious how this is going to play out for them. Red team is lurking around, but also willing to retreat for the looks of it. Chen is already at the top lane, so they're not going to make play there. They try to go for Garrosh, root on the ground. Somebody should channel. I mean, Stitches is going to move in from the top and hit that hook, of course. Andren is already there. Did he not see him? He must have been just outside of the vision range. Level 7 talents aren't ready yet for the blue team, but they will be in a moment for the red team. There's that hook that we already expected. And with the advantage and experience, that's a big window. Level 7 talents are not that impactful just yet, but that's a huge window regardless. In comes Stitches again with another slam. The only one that is really capitalizing on all of this is Medivh right now, because he's already at 31 stacks, so he's doing pretty okay and will soon complete the quest if this continues. But they are, with the talent advantage now, starting to move in. Malthael is still rotating. They have a lot of beefy boys at the front that can try and block the damage here. Suljin gets saved with the shield, and the grenade kills him. So Suljin is gone once again on level 7. We get him with the vicious assault here, and the altar gets channeled. Garrosh is going to grab it for the team, so that is 2 altars against 1 in that particular exchange. Early game for the KD agents, the comp works. Difficult to kill. They have a lot of tools that they can use with hooks, with Garrosh coming through, with the interrupts. They are beefy when it comes to the hit points, especially of course with the level 1 talent that we're seeing for the no-scope ninja. But the big question is still, how is this going to fare after level 10 abilities? How is this going to fare when we're getting into the later stages of the game? Are they going to be able to make the plays here? Medivh is moving in again, completes the quest just at the 5-minute mark. Good for him. They nearly get a kill on Malfurion though, but he gets saved, so he's already out. There's a lot of heroes that can just save a target. I mean, on the one hand, you have, for example, the helping hand from Stitches, then you have Garrosh, you can throw them back. And you have, later on, Chen, who can, with a kick, create some extra space. The leading experience is still there, as the blue team is now attempting to chase. And might actually be able to body block Stitches out. This could be the kill. This could be the first kill. It is the first kill. Stitches is gone. Stitches, the first one to die on the red team's side. The no-scope ninja was eliminated. Yeah, and they get the pumpkin camp just in time. Also, a few more stacks now for Suljin. Again, we're going to keep our eye on his baseline stacks. He needs to be the one to absolutely crush it here. We caught up slightly in experience thanks to that play too, which is important considering that you don't want to fall too far behind when the next objective spawns. If you have to buy yourself a little bit of time, that's fine. But if it's an entire level that you have to bridge, then you are going to be out of luck in most cases. 17,000 damage for Suljin. He's already top damage in the game. We got 15,000 for Tychus. As Mal'Ganis is trying to set this up again. Malfurion has other plans in that situation. And here come the level 10 abilities for the two teams. The Kek is in. Get Taz Dingo. Medivh is going to start cheating again. And Mal'Ganis went for the HP swap, as they're going again for Suljin. Still fine, works a few more attacks in. It's all about the damage increase right now. The first channel has already happened in the middle, and now they can focus on the final altar down at the bottom of the map. So low APM is currently tied in points on the core with the opponent. KD agents still. Gotta be careful. Suljin might have to pop his ult here. Gets kecked around, gets the shield, more keck plays. Where's that ult when you need it? Oh, well, maybe he doesn't need it after all. Has already popped it though, gets the damage in, gets gobbled up by Stitches. That is not over yet. Stitches gets thrown, and Suljin protected again for a moment. They get a kill, but he gets dropped too. Garrosh falls a second later. Now they go for Chen, who just barely rushes out, and they save the day for now. Anduin is already channeling at the bottom left now. He wants to get the altar, and they're going to pull that off. Rest of the team is moving away. The shots get fired, and the blue team is now slightly ahead in core points. 3 kills to 4. And 20 stacks also by now for the range damage dealer on the blue team side. Malthael, he got a stack too. He was able to use his last rights in the last battle, and it now reduces, of course, his cooldown by 5 seconds, so he's working on it. We got 17 stacks for Stitches, so 3 more, and he's going to have a 5% additional movement speed increase. It could get really interesting in this game. By now, I mean, they're just dancing around each other. It's really, it's intense in this series. Every team has a point on the board. This is going to be the one where someone will take the lead, and nobody wants to give the opponent an opportunity. So they come in again with the auto attack damage here. Suljin just stacking and gets gobbled up again. Has his ult not ready yet, but can move straight through the portal here and escapes. Last rights on Garrosh, but it was a little bit too premature. Malthael wasn't able to get the kill, but they're still trying to get the damage done. And woof, there's a hook. Oh my god, they're safe! And Chen is at 40 hit points because of it. Beautiful swap. Swap and shield from Medivh and Malthael, Mephisto, the other guy, Mal'Ganis. So, yeah, that was sexy as hell. If they could have gotten the kill on Chen there, that would have been just a cherry on top of it. But they were able to save the tank. And Chen, I think, survived with 40 hit points or something like that. Crazy. Now they can channel on the next altar, and that's a freebie. Yep. They got the... Oh, grenades? No. Not a range. So another 4 shots fired against the red team. Chen is coming in too. Suljin is currently at 24 stacks. Halfway done. Halfway done with his quest. And he is at 30,000 damage. Tychus, on the other hand, is already starting to move past him. The level 13 talents are ready. Tychus with really nice damage in that game. Of course, also because of Odin that he now used a couple of times already. There's the range increase for Stitches. The hook and Medivh. Does he have the cooldowns ready? Needs that portal, needs that shield. Needs it quickly. Tries to set it up and is able to escape, at least initially. They're turning it on Garrosh and they get the kill. Light Bomb not doing anything because the ley line was already used, but they still have a chance to go for Malfurion. And Suljin takes the kill. Suljin gets the kill, was able to use his Ensnare to lock Malfurion down. And they are pressuring the bot lane now. They're pressuring that bottom fort as Chen gets a solo kill at the top against Malthael. And survives it. Yeah, once again a close call for him, but is able to survive all of this. More damage against Tychus. And they're slowly retreating here. Well, maybe not retreating after all. Might have to use his Tazdingo. Does use it. And I think he wasn't quite aware that there was still a shield available that Medivh could use. Coordination or communication might not have been 100% on this one. So they used the cooldown. That's a big one, of course. But still. All in all, it is still a close game. 5 kills to 5, back and forth the entire time. Here comes the fight for the camp. The red team steals it, but lots of damage against, yes, Garrosh. And that's the kill. 30 stacks, another quest reward for Suljin at this point. So, yeah, looking real powerful here. And is working with Ensnare and more attacks. He just needs to be wary of that hook that is for sure going to come at some point. So 6 kills to 5 now. Suljin is working it, and his damage is starting to just top off fully. They go for Chen, and Chen low, but Suljin with a shield, and he still gets killed by Tychus. And it's not the only death on the blue team. They lose Anduin too, that's 2 heroes down. Malthael is on the run. Makes it out. Has used his ult again, by the way, but wasn't able to get himself a second stack, and now Malfurion can get the channel at the bottom altar and will fire another 4 shots against Team Low APM. So now it's 28 to 24 points on the core. That level 16 talent in just a second. Again, Medivh, time and time again, making the plays, trying to provide those portals, provide those shields, keep the teammates alive, dodging hooks too. But it is getting tricky. They're like a herd of headless chicken. There comes the ult from Mal'Ganis again. And they get the kill. They are able to take Stitches down. The HP swap from Mal'Ganis. And then they go for Stitches. And they just drop him. Mal'Ganis with all its survivability. And Snare's already out. Big damage on Garrosh. And he's dead. Garrosh is gone. Suljin with a hard-hitting order attacks in that single target damage. And he's absolutely crushing it. The team is pushing for the altar, for the kills. Tychus low. Mal'Ganis about to fall. Has 100 hit points. No way. And makes it out of the fight. Crazy. The bell tower at the bottom of the map has now been converted over. Suljin still attacking. No! Anduin! You little traitor! You traitor! What was that? He saved Tychus. Check his PayPal account. He's clearly paid off. Look at this. Ult gets used by Suljin. He's about to get the kill. And then Anduin just takes the kill away and saves Tychus. Clearly. Rigged. 100% rigged. 100%. Check the PayPal. Check the bank account. There he is. That's him. That's him. We got the number. We got the name. We get his mount too. Take the nameplate down. That is that. Wow. Blatant match. That was. 2 altars taken against 1. Now we got 22 against 19. And the bell tower is getting taken back at the bottom right. So, yep. 27 stacks for Stitches. Suljin is coming in again. They want that kill, and this time they're getting it. They're getting the kill. That is Tychus gone. And Suljin is having a fun time now. He's getting massive damage in. They are very, very close on core damage, though. Really close. With level 16, Anduin has now a double pull, which means he can save Tychus twice. But they're going for a couple of camps over here. Yeah, so they're taking the remaining pumpkins. Top side, this is where we have still Malthael, still on one single stack on his ult, by the way. One stack is all that he got. Should not fire it out against Chen here either. Yeah. Hook that minion. Hook it hard. 750 extra hit points now for Chen. Yeah, the front line is beefy that they're running here, but there's lots of damage now coming. And obviously with 16 we also have no mercy. So that is another one that's pretty big in that situation. There's the Gorge. Does he have his ult? He has his ult. They can save him. He needs to pop the ult here, of course. And yeah, well, actually I'm wrong. He had the shield. Now he has to pop the ult. And he might not be able to. Yep. Should have popped the ult. That's exactly the hero that they need to kill, by the way. They need to kill Suljin. Once that Suljin is gone, there is not enough damage on the side of low APM. So that is likely 2 altars for the red team. They're going to try and prevent it from happening and sort of slow it down. Maybe they can get a last rights kill, but they also need to ensure that Malthael doesn't fall. Where's that shield? And, well, it's not there. So now Malthael is dead as well. The red team is all of a sudden gaining massive amounts of momentum. Anduin, I don't know if you had tried to kill Medivh or if that really was calculated to get him close to that portal. It worked out, I guess, but I would keep my eye on Mr. X. That is a very suspicious character here. If you call yourself Mr. X, you have something to hide. So, yeah. After all that we've seen here, I'm not saying that I have any evidence yet, but there are certainly a couple of indications that something is not quite right here. 9 kills to 9 as we have the teams on level 19. And once again, Malthael is soon going to be back. Suljin is already back to business. And yeah, 14 points of 19 on the core. It's a wild game. It started in the draft. It got wild in the draft, and now it's just getting bonkers. Look at the damage output of Suljin and Tychus, by the way. They are basically identical in numbers. At least when it comes to hero damage. Stitches keeps throwing out these hooks and tries to make the big plays here. Yeah, Gumi is also moving around on this. Bottom of the map, the pumpkins are there. And consistently we get the swings here from Zaxi. They're trying to again go for Suljin. This time it seems like he's going to get away. Leyline is out. Medivh cheats, obviously. Dingo has been upgraded as well, so that's going to be a huge one for him. They get good damage in on Stitches. There's the next flip. Mal'Ganis gets out. Suljin decides that he's the hell out of there too. Doesn't want to fight into the big red button. And Chen has, by the way, gone for the energizing brew. So, he went for the Red Bull talent on level 20. Okay. Gobble Gobble Stitches with the Storm talents. And on the side of Mal'Ganis, we got the Alone in the Dark. The hook. They're fine. They come through the portal. They try to tee it up again. Big damage against Mal'Ganis. Mal'Ganis is gone. Malthael is gone. The double kill. Garrosh at least falls, so it's a 4 versus 3. And in comes the ensnare and the pull, just as he was about to gorge up Suljin, who, by the way, is now on 41 stacks. So Suljin's damage rising, but they're starting to lose more ground, and that's another 4 shots fired. They're going to be on 10 points from here on out. So they're really running out of room. We are 21 kills deep now into the game. 19 minutes. Camps are claimed. And the red team is pushing. The red team is aggressive. Mal'Ganis tried to go big in that fight and go for the Dark Conversion again, but this didn't work out for them. Stitches is now at 37 stacks, so another 3, and he will be in total at 15% increased movement speed. And at 1,000 extra hit points, of course. And the bell tower at the bottom of the map is lost. So, that's a goner. Boss is up too. Could still go for it. Nobody has so far touched it. Medivh is checking that one out, though. If you want to do that right underneath Medivh in the situation that they're in right now, questionable. So yeah, they don't want to do that either. The 2 heroes that were dead for the blue team are already coming back. So you can try and take that bell tower back, but you need to be very careful that you're not getting hooked by stitches here. Yeah, exactly like that. So they still save him with the help of Anduin. It's good damage done. I mean, Suljin is obviously packing a punch at this point. But they're not getting it right away. Damage numbers, we have them at 75,000. Tychus and Suljin. Double ult at the top. I mean, if both of them get taken in the current situation, then the KD agents would win the game. Not the match, but it would take the lead. So, right now, there they go again. Suljin, 65 average APM. Checks out. Team name checks out, 100%. The German efficiency. Zaxi. That is Zaxi, the German Suljin player. Only useful clicks. 21 minutes into the game. Low APM. They have to fight back here. They have to get some kills. They need to make sure that Suljin is getting the damage in for them. The hook on Malthael. There's the shield. And he gets gobbled up. The no-scope ninja. There's also the first channel. That's 5 shots fired. And it's a kill on Malthael. Delays things a little bit, but nothing that he can do here. So we have an exchange in altars, and that's now 5 points to 16. The game isn't over for low APM. If they get kills, they can still turn this. Late game momentum is everything on Towers of Doom. It's the comeback map in the game. The hooks, they keep hitting Suljin. It's honestly nasty. It's just absolutely crazy. He goes in and they murder Malfurion. It was a ruse all along. Now Medivh is gone, and this is arguably the most important hero on their side. More damage from Suljin, but the truth is that they need to get more kills in. At this point, I really ask myself if it might be worth it for him to just go in deep, right into the middle of them, drop his ult when he starts to go low, and then see if he can get a couple more kills. Because this is just crazy. Mal'Ganis gets hooked over once again. Could try and go for this ult as well. It's a 4 versus 4 right now. Suljin with big damage against Chen, and he's dead. Chen gets killed, and that's another stack for Malthael. Now he's trying to gobble everything up here. Again, Suljin still has his ult. They're trying to go for the next kill. Mal'Ganis is low, but Suljin is crushing their damage numbers. Pops his ult, goes for it, and big damage coming in, but he gets stunned out again. They try to save him, can't. Instead, Anduin gets pulled over, and this is the full 5-man team wipe. Suljin is nearly done with his quest, but what does it matter? This is game. Guys, the double tank worked out. They stole stitches away from the blue team. It's 17 kills to 12. And now that the altars are spawning, a single channel is all that they need. Tychus is already on it. This is victory in game number 3 for the KD agents. That triple front line worked out. And they have now the advantage in this best of 5 series in the losers bracket. GG, well played. Well, we're going to Brax's holdout. The game was pretty wild. This is match point number 1 for the KD agents. When we entered the lobby, I was actually trying to banter a bit with the blue team, and I was saying like, hey guys, so did somebody check Mr. X's PayPal account after that Tychus save? The red team immediately started to banter back and thought it was pretty funny. The blue team absolutely ignored me. So in the best case scenario, they were busy discussing the next game in Discord. The worst case scenario is that I'm now officially on their shit list, and they're just like sitting there and going, we hate that guy. So they might not have found it as funny as we did. But yes, Anduin saving Tychus earlier when he pulled Suljin back was kind of amusing. But yeah, full ignore from the blue team. They were highly concentrated. That's at least my interpretation of things. Now we're going to Braxis. We have Maiev again banned. This just is a theme, this is a thing. It's not going to change. But this is the map choice again for the KD agents. So the blue team has now for the second time in a row decided that they want to have first pick, and therefore map choice for the red team. Now this is obviously a big opportunity right now to end the series and move on to the losers bracket final. I knew that Shogun would get banned. I had an inkling that now that we're heading into game number 4 and 30 heroes are banned out, that Shogun is one of them that is gonna start to get the axe. But yeah, so whoever wins this series moves on to face off against the Munchies in the losers bracket final. And if you win this series, you are guaranteed to at a minimum be top 3. So already pretty impressive. Sergeant Hammer and Arthas. Yeah, they're not wasting too much time here either. So we are setting up a strong 4-man at the bottom of the map. And there is no hesitation from the blue team either. They come in with Gul'dan, lots of wave clear. They have Stukov, so Imperius with a quick engage and a lunge. And then Stukov with a lurking arm follow-up for them. The one hero that I'm actually missing a lot in this tournament, now that I think about it, and I'm not even sure if she was played in the Murky Cup either. When have I seen the last Zarya? I can't even remember. I think there was one Zarya ban in the Murky Cup when a team picked an early Garrosh. But, nope. Don't think we've ever seen her here. Maybe pick her with Arthas at some point, get the speed bubble on level 4 and let Arthas just race into the opponent's team and slow them down into oblivion. Inubura gets bans, they're toying around with the front line a little bit. Oh, Morales! No pocket heals for Sergeant Hammer apparently. Not quite sure if that was really a concern for them. But maybe on a 2-lane map like Braxis, the KD agents played Morales in the past with some sneaky strategy. Technically you could do that. I mean, obviously, if you're boosting Sergeant Hammer alone, that already makes a lot of sense. But you could also try and play more of a macro-based game with Medivac. Unlikely, but hey, stranger things have happened. Oriel and Zagara. So that leaves us with more and more wave clear. And Oriel, of course, also a really nice tool to just get the continuous heals out during the game. Has the whip ready on top of that. And that leaves us on the blue team side with 2 more, the final picks. And they need more damage. And we need a bit more of a front line, of course, as well. Imperius seems like he's more of a main tank for them. I guess we'll figure that out in a second. If he's side lane or main tank, or what position they have him in. And yes, it's the main tank, so they're seeing Rexa on the side lane. And we get Orphea. That's a double mage that you're playing. You're very, very cooldown dependent if you're not going for a combo like that. It is playable, but it's not easy, and it can backfire hard. So they need to be really cautious how they play this out in team fights, or they're going to be in for a spanking. That leaves us with Simply, who usually plays the main tank for the team. And here on Braxis, the final choice is Johanna. Oof, she's still up, yeah. Indeed she is. Johanna Arthas. Here we go, everybody. Map number 4, Braxis holdout. Game number 4. Here we go. Low APM against the KD agents. Over on the left side, we got Zaxion Gul'dan and Mr. X on Stukov. The blue team needs to win 2 in a row now to advance to the next series. We got Gumis on Imperius, Hammerin on Rexa, and Birchu is playing Orphea. As over on the right side, we got the KD agents with Simply on Jojo. We get McGiblets on Oriel, Kratodel on Arthas. Actually going into a trade build here. We're specking straight into Frostborn Hungers. Kani on Sergeant Hammer, and the no-scope Ninja with Zagara after that Stitches performance on Towers of Doom. We get the Bird of Prey over here on level 1, and of course the Impaling Light at the top. It's actually interesting that Gul'dan is immediately moving towards the top side. I'm not quite sure if this is really going to be a 3-2 split throughout the early game. I would assume that Zagara is moving down to the bottom of the map. Gul'dan is just like sticking it out at the top in case that he's needed. But it is a 2v3 for the time being. I think they could have done a little bit more with Gul'dan at the bottom of the map, and especially since he's trying to stack his level 1 and against Sergeant Hammer. You usually have a bit of an easier time getting that done, especially if you have a lead-in like that from Imperius now. So, yeah, it is Hammer time. But they're sitting 2v3 on those lanes. Nisha gets attacked again, and down to the bottom of the map now that the beacons are about to get announced. We are going for gold. Yeah, so we have the 1 mage top, 1 mage down at the bottom of the map. Imperius follow stuns. They're still trying to get a few camps as they're moving now in on the Bruiser camp here. Zagara is also saying hello real quickly. Arthas is obviously attempting. Arthas is going to have an easy time getting his stacks together against Misha. That shouldn't be a problem for him at all. Beacons are activating. 1:30 into the game. And, yep, at the top. Arthas immediately wants this one. Gets the stack, tries to go for Misha, and gets those hits in. And Sergeant Hammer falls at the bottom of the map. Okay, that's a nice one. Get the kill. Big damage, Gul'dan! And that's a second kill against the KD agents. Low APM. They're trying the triple, and they barely miss as Simply walks out with 50 HP. If he would have just been a couple of pixels to the left, he would have fallen too. But so they're able to pull that off. Arthas is going to get tons of stacks in against Misha here. I can pretty much guarantee you that already. So this is just a question of cooldowns at this point. With Misha sitting at the front, whenever you want a stack, you're going to get one. You're always assuming that you have the cooldown ready for it. So no progress for either team, but we have some assistance for the top as Gul'dan's at a low. And they can try to take now over that beacon. They are a little bit late on this, so I don't understand why Rexa didn't stick around just a tiny bit longer, because they would have gotten this. Maybe not for a huge duration, but every little bit matters. So Arthur's still firing away on the trade. But I think the blue team could have really gotten some process here. So, down at the bottom of the map. By now, we're having the next attack coming in. We got 2 kills to 0 already, and a slight leading experience that came with it. With the level 4 talents, we get the regenerated Biosteel now. Yep. And more party at the top lane as well, but Rexa actually had to retreat, so Gul'dan is currently the only one holding the lane. As over here, Sergeant Hammer gets attacked again, desperately waiting for level 7 talents to be ready. And Arthas is going to get the next hit in against Misha in a second. And yeah, again, he's working his little one. He's working the trade. So down at the bottom of the map, they're trying again for Sergeant Hammer. They get a bit of extra damage in, but not enough to lead to a second kill here. Arthas is still playing around the top lane. Drops a bit low and has to be careful if Misha is able to engage, but is not able to quite jump in here. 8 stacks by now, so getting closer and closer to completing this quest too. They even get some assistance from the bottom of the map as Joanna is saying hello. But that also leaves the bot lane a bit exposed. There's only 2 defenders here. Yeah, that's 9 stacks now. Arthas is still alive. Barely, I might add. But no progress. Well, 10% progress. You always get the 18 anyways. That's a minimum. So the blue team is a bit closer to getting actual value out of the objective than the KD agents. But, yeah. Pietro is trying to still hold that spot, and that's not going to work out for long. If they don't have anybody flanking in, then Sergeant Hammer is going to have a great day here. They try and go for Fia and drop her, but she's able to get out. Now the control, 22% by the way. Low APM is starting to pull a bit ahead, so good for them. Good news. And here comes the mobility for Sergeant Hammer. Kani, wow, barely makes it out, rotating towards the top and not trying to escape through the gate, or that it would have been the end of Sergeant Hammer. But this is now Hava Siege mode that is finally active for them. That was definitely needed. So Hava Siege mode is in play. We got the crippling talons, the flash of anger, and at the top still the back and forth battle with Arthas and the blue team. And Arthas completes this quest here. So he is now sitting at 10. Gets the 10 in, gets the reward for it. We now have double control for the red team, and they might actually be able to hold on to this for much longer, especially if they're able to get the kill on Gul'dan, which they do. So Gul'dan is gone. Top lane control is essentially established. They could send another hero down to the bottom of the map, because this is where we're now seeing low APM moving in. But Kani is trying to punish them for it. If you have to push into Sergeant Hammer, you know you're usually in for a rough time. And that's what they're attempting here. That's 76% already. Jojo trying to buy some time. And here comes Zagara, as expected. Gets the damage out. That's 100% on the Zerg wave, for sure for the team. And they drop off here as well. Big Zerg wave for the red team. The KD agents have the pressure at the bottom of the map and can use it right here, right now. And they're gonna get mad value with this. So, yep, this is looking great. Ophir isn't here, and she's one of the defenders that they are relying upon in a situation like this. So now it's all on Gul'dan, essentially, to try and stop it. But the pressure is on. And Zagara is chipping in as well. It's not only the Zergs that are here. The Zerg Queen is coming in with additional roaches, and that is mad damage on the fort. They're going to lose the first fort in the game, and that's a fountain gone from the bot lane too, making access to the beacon even harder. Yeah, they're rotating towards the top now, where Arthas still keeps stacking his trade. He's currently sitting on 14 stacks. They flank in on Rexxar, and they drop him. Rexxar is gone. That's 15 stacks also for Arthas, and they're about to hit level 10. There it is. So now they have heroics. This is getting worse and worse for them. Talking about getting worse. Simply get slapped. Big hits. Syndragosa, though, talking about the big hits. There's the BFG. And unless he gets his abilities back and the cooldown, he's dead. And he is dead regardless. That death coil was a bit too much for him to handle. Now they're coming in on the fort at the top. Still no level 10 abilities for lower APM, which means both of the forts are lost. Both of the forts are gone, and that means no fountains in the middle and momentum. Momentum for the KD agents that they could try and use to snowball their game a little bit. With heroic abilities, we now get the Boars, we get Eternal Feast, and we get Horrify. Damage output. Arthas is now at 17,000, third highest in the game. Again, he is trying to be a bit more aggressive with the build that he executes here. And against Misha, he should be able to get a lot of stacks on level 1 as this continues. But we now have 24,000 damage for Sergeant Hammer as the top damage dealer in the red team. For the game, it is still Ophia. After that successful kill against Johanna earlier, she's now moved into the number 1 spot with 24.5 thousand. The teams are still even in experience. And, yeah. Gul'dan is also nearly done with his level 1 quest, which is really good news for him. So that's already nice. Talking about nice, that's a nice push, and Arthas is definitely not equipped to stop this by himself. The team is a bit late to rotate up here. And yeah, they need that AoE and they need it quickly or the fort is in trouble. So the blue team still pushing this a bit, but they're starting to take this now out. Zagara is the one that has probably the most wave clear for them right now. Sergeant Hammer is of course also quite strong, but it always takes a bit more to get those auto attacks going and really get the value. But they are saving the fort itself. They lost the wall. It's kind of inevitable. But here come the beacons, and now the question, who goes for the next objective? Is low PM, despite the fact that they don't have fountains into the middle anymore, able to play around this and go for the beacons? Currently, they're just playing a ring around the rosy game. Arthas gets attacked. They're trying to lock this one in. Arthas, the Horrify, Aegis gets used quickly. There's the Fear, and he moves out. So they're still fine here. This is retaking that beacon. They're trying to go for Oriel, and it's a kill. The Maw came too late. Are they really willing to play over it? They're trying. In comes Syndragosa and the BFG. That's a kill. It could be a double, and it is. It's a double kill against the blue team, and now it is beacon time once more. The Maw is there. Syndragosa comes through, and then they're following this up with kills. Arthas is low. Bit too low, and gets dropped as they are attempting to take control again of the beacon. But they're actually, at least initially, are able to take it. So, already claimed. Let's see how much time they can buy themselves here. This is not a winner-takes-all objective. If you get a lead, then you are already great. They go, oh my god, Jojo, no! That lurking arm, had to see that one coming. 7 kills to 6. With Johanna gone, they're staggering deaths now. 72%. So even if we're seeing the Zerg wave claimed for 100% for low APM, those 72%, 74% are going to be quite useful no matter what happens. You still have a decent push at the top. Sergeant Hammer, still top damage, but Ophia is inching close. And Rexxar is now taking over at the top as they're fighting for the bottom of the map, and Jojo is now coming back. So trying to at least take initial control. Aegis! Can they go for the kill? Horrify on point! And Ophia is still alive as Zagara falls. They keep staggering these deaths, and it is not helping them at all. But maybe a kill against Gumis. Imperius. He makes it out with the help of Stukov, who came through with quick slaps to get the opponent out of the way. And this is, I guess, an objective for lower APM. They're going to get a bit more than the red team. So 100% against 74. It still doesn't change the fact that we have 2 forts that are destroyed on the blue team side. So now it's just a matter of how well the KD agents can defend at the bottom of the map. And I don't think they're going to lose that fort. I don't think they lose this one. They should be fine on this encounter. Oh, yeah. Especially with Syndragosa now being used as well. So that buys them a bit more time, too. But it's, of course, still a heavy push that's coming here. Gul'dan is defending at the top lane against the red team's wave. And yeah, they don't really have that. They don't really have that AoE, do they? Not as much wave clear as they would need. So maybe that fort falls after all. They take Misha down. That one's nice, but the fort is at 50%, 40% HP. And I think the blue team is going to claim this one. Maybe barely not. Alright, good for them. So they hold it for now. Gul'dan would have been there if he didn't have to defend at the top. That would have been a totally different story. 22 stacks now for Arthur's, and he has by now Frost Strike on level 13. His 16 talent is of course going to boost that quest progress even further. It's also just a question of whether or not he has the mechanics to reliably use that in fight after fight. But his damage isn't really all that shabby if you compare it to the melee heroes on the other side. Arthur's is now sitting at 26,000. That puts him pretty high up in the pecking order. Are we going to invade here? No. Let this one go. They're still looking okay. They want level 16 first. They're not forcing it too much. But with level 16, that would help them a ton. Talent advantages are always nice. I mean, can they do anything with the window? Probably not. Just keep the blue team a bit at bay. It's still match point for the red team, and structurally things are going extremely well for them. They might go for the boss here. And yep, they are trying to use that small window to go for the boss. We have Arthur's now with Embrace Death. Let's see if they're going to do that. Currently they might be willing to embrace a team fight. The rotation from the blue team is coming. Boss is about to be there. They got a Maw, of course, too. Here comes the Eternal Feast. Yes, BFG, Syndragosa, Arthur's is in trouble as they take the objective. And it's a kill. Both frontliners die. Crazy that Imperius didn't fall. I think he would have... I thought, honestly, that he would be destroyed at a minimum. But now they have the top lane pushing, and there's a boss as well. So, the ult of Fia did tons of work for them in that battle. Arthur's made sure that they got the boss and didn't retreat here. But it felt like they should have at least gotten the kill on Imperius to make up for the 2 heroes that they lost. But now the top lane, Keep, is getting pushed, pressured, falls slowly. But it's not going to fall enough. We have 8 seconds until Arthur's and Joanna are back. 8 seconds for them to buy a bit of time here. 55,000 damage for Sergeant Hammer. 50,000 for Fia. And a respectable 30k for Arthur's. And again, his numbers are going to increase. They move towards the top. They're trying to play the ring around the rosy game as they're moving in here to quickly take this back. I don't get any progress for it, but yeah, now also like behind it in experience. Let's not forget about that. Low APM wants game 5. Of course they do. They want game number 5. And now it's the battle at the bottom of the map. They get the initial lead here. Yeah, they get the initial advantage. How long can they stay on that point? Already, Jojo stunned, locked down, Aegis being used. The triple Maw. Horrify is out. Syndragosa, they're trying to tee it up here. And Orphea is low. Orphea and Imperius both get destroyed in the fight. Arthur's falls, but only 1 counter kill. And the progression continues. They're at 56% already. This could be 100% to 0 essentially. But that was solid. That was a solid play right there. And good for Jojo to move in, just get that condemn, and then the kill on Orphea herself. So now they have the big Zerg wave at the bottom of the map, and they're going to be trying to take a keep out on the opponent's side. Arthur's isn't going to be back in a couple of seconds. We have the next camp also claimed. And this is going to be potentially big. Because, honestly, low APM, the problem that they had the entire time is not necessarily the team fights. They have won some, lost some, it's 10 kills to 9. Their biggest problem is really what happens around structures. And now at the top, I'm not even sure if this mini-wave that they have and the camp is able to get them fort destroyed. So if more structures are not falling at the bottom of the map, then the blue team is getting pinned down further and further in their own base, and this is starting to get nasty. There's a double mage, which technically is good for defense against these Zerg waves, but the keep is still mega low and will fall. So the bottom keep is gone. 2 forts destroyed and the bottom keep gone. More and more catapult pressure. Now they come in with a blessed shield. BFG, he feigns death, but there's the Maw against 3 again. Can they get the kill? Once more, Horrify against Arthas, and he gets slapped away by Stukov. I'm telling you, Mr. X is paid off. Second time, second game, where he saves some targets. To be fair, here was a little bit more justified. Zagara goes down. How are Stukov and Imperia still alive? How is everybody dying on the red team? Orphea moves in, drops Sergeant Hammer, and drops Arthas. That's actually crazy. How are they losing everybody? The blue team was essentially checkmated in that fight, and now Orphea just popped off in that battle. And then we have 4 heroes murdered. That's the fort at the bot lane gone. Stukov is the only one that hasn't been killed yet. I mean, of course not, because, again, the KD agents pay him. So, of course they're not killing him. He can't help them if he's dead. I really hope that Mr. X doesn't listen back to this. It's all jokes, dude. It's all jokes. I praised him in previous series, but seriously, it was too funny earlier, and we need to continue with the theme a little bit. They're going for the keep, and they take this one easily. But I don't think they're going to go for the core. But they can't. But now it's much, much more even. And the big difference is the level 20 talent. And there we have Haunt. And we also get the Eldritch Conduit. Plus Imperious with the Impervious. And top off for Stukov. So the red team, they need to go for a bit of a mental reset on this one. This is still winnable for them. They're still ahead in structures. Not by much. I mean, how many hit points is this? Basically nothing. But what they can do is just get the level 20 and then it comes down to the next team fight. If they keep landing these triple Maws, for example, and properly follow up on them, then they have a chance of taking this. So 14 kills, 2-9, and they are dealing with that bot lane. Trying to push these catapults out. The beacons are up once again. And here is where it gets interesting. You can kiss that fort goodbye. I mean, that wasn't given. It was so low. That was a surprise. But here's the level 20 talent. So it gives us the upgrade on Aegis with the Diamond Resolve. We have also the Radiating Faith, Ultra Capacitors, and more importantly, Absolute Zero for Arthas. There's the flank. They see Orphea! Oh my god! She walked right past them and they didn't get anything out of it. Arthas is about to go down. Gets murdered by Orphea. Oh my god, I really thought they had her there. I thought they would just try and collapse onto her as she moved in. She moved right between Arthas and Jojo. But then she comes in with her ult, is able to get the big damage, drops Arthas, who just doesn't get the value here. Now they're fighting a 4 versus 5. Ult, triple Maw. Rexa is dead. Rexa gets wrecked. And oh my god!
Holy shit.
What a fight there at the end. Huge damage. Gul'dan is the only one that is still there. Look at this. Crazy. They just come in, whip everything, punish, and that's the kill. And that is probably also game. 28 kills in total. Absolute glorious fight for the KD agents in this last battle. The core is losing hit points. The shield is low. Gul'dan is on the run. And this should be the end of it. The KD agents, they destroy low APM. The blue team drops out of the tournament. And the KD agents move on to the losers bracket final. GG.